Welcome to Luxon Photography. My name is Janus Dirksen, and today I have something different for you. You usually see me how I photograph people often on the streets, and this time I photographed animals. We had a couple of dogs here, and we took some pictures outside, and I thought, let's just take a look at the pictures, and I might talk a little bit about how I did it. Now, I had two lenses with me, the 50mm 1.2 and the 135mm f2, and I used the 50mm for everything that was close to me, like this dog. Everything that was close, I used the 50mm, always relatively open, f2.2, and everything that was further away, then I used the 135mm lens. Now, is it a good advice to shoot at f1.8 if something is moving like a dog? Well, you will get images out of focus, but if you hit the focus right, you get really nice images. Now, all the images you see now, not all images are in focus. Now, this is 50mm f1.2 at f1.2, so the lowest, so the widest open aperture that you can think of, and look at the eye, how sharp it is. And this is a really nice, great bokeh. You don't see much in the background, just this dog. And this is just the way I shoot. I really like to, if I have an f1.2 lens, I want to use it at f1.2. And I will pay the price that you have to pay if you want images in focus with f1.2. You just have to take more images, especially if things are moving. And if somebody is a dog that's jumping up and down, even if you shoot it at f2 or f3.5, you probably get some images out of focus. And now we're here with the 135. Now, whenever something is further away, and I want still intimacy, I want the character of a person, or in this case a dog, and I can only get the character when I get close to the subject. And the 135mm lens is really great for things that are further away. Now, this is the 50mm, and this dog is still rather close to me. Now, this is the 135 because he was further away. Now, when things run to you, towards you, or in this case animals, it's very hard to get them in focus because it has to be super fast, the focus. And you see here the grass is in focus and the dog isn't. Now, if you use these images for just for your web, you can probably use these, but if you want to print them, they don't work. Yet I think the expression is really nice. It just takes some time that the program renders the images. So I just think this is still a nice image, even though the dogs are not in focus. But I thought I will leave it. I leave it as it is. Now this is in focus. Now 135. The 135mm f2 lens is a great lens. I really enjoy it, and it's very easy to use. You can get really great portraits from further away, isolate the subject, get a really blurry background. And I think many people don't try this lens. I think most people go until the 85mm and then or maybe the 70-200. But I found the 100mm lens and the 135 really great. Just look at the sharpness of this eye here, how great it looks. This is really sharp at f2.8. So let me just take a look. Now, the way I photograph these animals is, I would say, a reportage style, which means that I don't control much. I just react. Something happens, I react with my camera. I have the lenses, which is my creative control, and I only brought two lenses, 50mm, 135mm, no wide angle lens. I don't need that in this scenario, because I knew we go into a park, the dogs will run, And so when they run, I need something that gets me close to the animals. The wide angle lens, when I shoot a wide angle lens and the dogs run, you will see the animals only very, very small, maybe like something like this, and this is even 135 millimeter. And I want the faces of the animals. I want the emotion. I want the expression. And here we are again at 1.2. It's a little bit sharp here. The eye is not super sharp, but it's still a nice image. Now, everybody has different aspects about the quality of an image. Some people say sharpness is the most important thing. I think expression is the most important thing. If an image has expression, and this for example, this has a great expression. He makes a funny face, and he has seen something that he really wants, so he's now running towards it. It's even sharp at f2.0, 135 millimeter. Even if it wouldn't be sharp, it, I think, is a great image. It has a nice expression. You cannot actually get this image again. So this is important to me, this image, and it's never the sharpness. To me, it's never the sharpness that matters. It's always the expression, and the expression is often in the face. It can also be a body movement. Now, with this image we just looked at, we had a funny face and a nice movement because he's running. These images I also like, and I don't care if they are in focus totally or not. It's f1.2, so probably a lot is not in focus. Now, actually, the dog is now in focus, and that's fine. It's not easy to catch a dog who's jumping, to get him in focus at f1.2. That's why you see I took many pictures here just to know that I have some images where the dog is sharp. This was early in the morning where the sun was still a little bit low, so we get a really nice light around us. Now this was at the end of October, so I don't know about the weather. I never look at the weather when I photograph. I photograph in the rain, I photograph in snow, and when it's dark and when it's cloudy, and I use whatever is there. I never go against the circumstances. I always make the circumstances part of the image. So when it rains, I will make sure that the rain is a great part of the image. And when it's dark, I make sure that darkness is a great part of the image. I will not fight the circumstance. And when the dogs run, I make an image how they run. When they sit, I make an image when they sit. I don't fight the moment, and I don't need to control the moment. This is just a reportage style, which means I don't actually do much. I just watch and catch what I think has great emotion, where I feel something. When I see there are 5 or 6 dogs at the same time running around, and I look around and I make a decision which moment is actually touches me. And that's what I will photograph. And if it doesn't get me, I don't photograph it. And that's why photography is very subjective. You might have taken very different images here. You might have shot always at f4. I have no image here at f4. I always shot between f1.2 and f2.8. And other people would have used a wide angle lens. So everything is in the frame. And so that's the great thing about photography. It's very subjective, and you can put your own character into the image. Because what you photograph is something that you saw and that you have selected as valuable. And so that's the reason why I really love photography so much, that I do it as my job, and I also do it as my passion and my free time with the YouTube channel. And it's just a great expression of yourself. Now we have seen the images in color. What I always like to do whenever I photograph somebody, they get always the images in black and white as well. And the color images I always edit in under 20 seconds. Every image you see that I have taken is edited in under 20 seconds, often even much faster. Now, I have just selected all the images and put a black and white filter on it and put some grain into the image so they look older, more vintage. And now sometimes people ask me, how do you get black and white images? It's one click. I haven't touched any of these images. I haven't edited any of these images in black and white. I have imported the color images and put a filter on all of these images, and it will translate them into black and white, and everything is fine. I don't need to do any changes to any setting. So the settings here, I haven't actually done anything. I just import the images and put the black and white filter on it, and this is exactly what you get. The program will make the images black and white. Now, if you want to know how to edit images and if you want to be really good at it, if you like the images that I take, you can learn it as well in one day. I have the 20-second editing workflow, which is a video course where I edit over 100 images. All images are included as raw files, so you get the same results with the same images. And you will learn how to get images like me always in under 20 seconds for the rest of your life. You never in your life have to take longer than 20 seconds for an image like this. And I put a link in the description below if you're interested in it. There are different kinds of investments that you can make. You can buy a new lens, you can buy a new camera, you can buy a new editing program, you can buy a service, or you can buy knowledge. Knowledge is something that other people paid for with their time, money, and energy. With the Canon 6D, which I always use here, I have taken now 1 million images. That is a lot of experience, and I can put that experience into a product like a DVD course, and you can skip taking 1 million images. You can skip that and get my experience and the knowledge that I have gained over the time much faster. And I believe if you want something valuable, you have to pay a price for it. So I'm always glad when I can pay for something, because then it will have value to me. If I don't pay for anything, it doesn't have any value to me. So I know if I want to be good in photography, what I will do then is I will invest into photography, because I believe that my success in the next year is not about the money I make now. The money I make now has nothing to do with my success in the next year. The only thing that decides about my success in the next year is not the money that I make, it's the money that I invest. If I invest in a video course, if I invest in a workshop, that investment will be relevant for the income of the following 12 months. It's not the money that I earn that will make a difference. It's the money that I invest. And it's not money that you have to invest. There are 3 levels, I think, of investment. If you want to be good at something, maybe photography, you can invest your money into it. You can invest your time into it. And most important, you can invest your energy into it. If you saw some videos where I photograph people on the streets, it doesn't cost money to photograph people on the streets. It doesn't cost time to photograph people on the streets, but it costs a lot of energy. And there are people who put money into their cameras, money into their lenses, put some time into it, but not much energy. And energy is always connected with fear. If you're not afraid with the stuff you're doing, you probably don't have much success. If you are very afraid in your everyday life, you are probably very successful, because success is what happens when you go into what you are afraid of. When I photograph people on the streets and it doesn't matter if they agree to be photographed or if they disagree, I am successful because I followed something that I wanted to do. Success is always going to what you feel is important. And right now it's in the middle of the night, 1 o'clock, nearly 2 o'clock at night during the week. And this now is very important to me, doing these videos, because somewhere there is somebody who needs some inspiration, and maybe this video might have helped him. Thank you very much.